a lot more of this to get through this wrap up because I have 17 books to talk about today, and I have been putting this off because I just have not felt like talking about books. I'm kind of in a book slump, honestly. So like I said, today is going to be the July and August wrap up. I've been doing 2-month wrap ups, which have been actually very helpful. It also helps with like video planning too, with the way I do like 2-month wrap ups. That way I don't feel like a rush to like get out a video before the month ends, you know what I mean? So I've been trying to figure out how I want to exactly do my wrap ups, and I'm still trying to figure out my formula for it. But I decided to add in a favorite read and least favorite read because I thought it would be fun to like choose my favorite book and then choose my least favorite book. That's literally what I said, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, anyways, not gonna lie, I can't remember which books I read in July and which books I read in August because it was just so long ago, but I'm just gonna put them all together and just say I read 17 books in the month of July and August, and 5 of those were mystery thriller books, 6 of those were romance, and another 6 of them were fantasy/romantasy. I didn't divide them by YA because there wasn't that many YA books, honestly. My favorite read for July and August, this was kind of hard to choose because I had another 5-star read, but I decided to go with A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. And my least favorite, surprising to me, was The Inheritance Games. You know, with that being said, let me go ahead and talk about The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Let's go ahead and start the wrap up, and let's start off strong with my 2-star read. This took me by surprise, okay? So this book was like really popular on BookTok a long time ago, and everyone was talking about it, and everyone was giving it 5 stars. But this book was just so all over the place for me. It's literally the same way I felt about Truly Devious. See, I have The Inheritance Games, it's just up there and I don't feel like grabbing it, so you're getting an image. I didn't read this for any video at all, and also, I'm going to be putting a picture of the video I read whatever book I talk about in, if you guys want to go and like watch that video to get more like details and like, you know, real-time reactions of the book that I'm reading. Anyways, I don't think I read The Inheritance Games for a video, by the way. I think I literally was just listening to it. It was just about this girl named Avery. She grew up kind of poor. She plays chess with this guy at the park sometimes. She lives with her sister or something like that. And randomly, she gets taken out of school and is told that she has to attend this witness, what is it? It's like a will reading or something. Like she has to go and like witness the reading of this will. So basically she goes there and she ends up inheriting all of this random old guy's stuff, and he's like really like rich, and so now she like owns like the mansion and a lot of money, and his grandsons are like pissed about it, right? And obviously you probably can figure where that could go from there love story wise. There's like a lot of like grandsons that, you know, there's 2 of them specifically that she likes or something, or no. See, I couldn't even tell which one she was going to end up with, but obviously this is like a 3-book series, but I'm just not going to continue it. Like the cover is very deceiving almost because it kind of comes across as like it's going to be this really like mysterious and thrilling read, and there's like a lot of puzzles, sure, but it just, they felt very confusing and just all over the place, and I really did not know like where the story was going, which in some ways is a good thing, but I felt like it was a bad thing because I was just so lost. And also Avery's best friend, she had no reason to be mad at her. I thought it was stupid. I didn't feel any sort of connection with anybody, with no one, and maybe it's because this is a YA book or something, and maybe that's why I didn't like it, but I felt like even if I read this when I was younger, I think I still would have been really confused as to what was going on in this book. And the very end, like, I don't know, I just didn't understand it at all. And so I'm just kind of confused, like, how everyone was obsessed with this. I don't get it, I'm sorry. I truly don't get it. I feel really bad, but like, yeah, it just wasn't for me. It was like very much a disappointment for sure. So the next book I'm going to be talking about is very much a drastic difference from The Inheritance Games. This was a 5-star read, and that was A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. I love Stephanie Garber's writing and her world building and her characters. These books are so fun. They really come across as like this fairy tale vibe, but there's still like a lot of like crazy things going on, and these books are really, really, really fast paced. Like this whole series is. It really kept me intrigued the whole time. The whole trilogy. This was the last book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, and I miss this world so much. I literally read this in a day. I was hooked and locked in. Obviously, I can't talk about it too much because it's the third book in a series, but I feel like I've talked about Once Upon a Broken Heart so many times. It's about this girl named Evangeline who has always believed in true love. She finds out that the boy that she's in love with is getting married, and in order to stop this, she goes to Jax, the Prince of Hearts, for help, who is a fate, and you never make a deal with a fate, and she makes a deal with a fate, so you kind of know where that goes, and obviously there's a bit of romance between them. And this story is just so good, and I saw something on Instagram that she might be writing another book in this world, and there are some things that I did have questions about in this series in general, about some characters that kind of like literally dipped off the face of the earth, and I did not know where they went off to. But I'm really hoping that her Instagram post means that she's gonna like write another book in this world, and I would absolutely devour it. I would devour it. This is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. Oh, and another book that I was also very shocked by, Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. Wow. I really thought that I was gonna like this book a lot more. I gave it a 3, which is average, but I really was hoping that I was gonna like this book a lot more. I found myself a little bored at times, and I think it's because there was just a lot of physical attraction between the two characters. Basically, we have, I already forgot their names. So we have Clementine and we have Luke. Luke is Clementine's older brother's best friend, okay? So we've got a brother's best friend trope going on. He always kind of saw her as this, like, little kid. Like, maybe even, like, a little sister vibe, right? So Clementine has been gone and out of her hometown for a while, and then she comes back due to events that happened to her, and she sees Luke again, and Luke sees her, and suddenly, like, he is so attracted to her, and I felt like the switch from him viewing her as, like, this annoying, like, you know, the switch from that to, oh, she's hot, was very, like, random, and he got very protective over her very quickly, and I just felt like that was a bit unrealistic. I kind of wanted a little bit more banter between them. They kind of went from, like, not really knowing each other very well, not really enemies, but they went from that to, like, lovers really fast. I just didn't like it as much, and I hear that this is a lot of people's favorite book in this series, which that doesn't really give me a lot of hope because I just didn't really like this one. And for it being such a short book, there was a lot of spice in it, okay? And I feel like I always talk about my preference of spice all the time, and I want to say that I don't mind spice if it makes sense to have it. I felt like there was just a lot of unnecessary spice in this book, and I feel like we did not really get to know Luke's character on a deep personal emotional level. There was one chapter I remember that I was really, really excited to get to because it kind of talked about Luke's family life, his home life, and I really thought it was going to get into more of his character, but it literally ended like that, and I was like, oh, okay. So, like, I thought I was gonna get more of him and his backstory, but it just didn't happen. So that's why I only gave it a 3. I just really expected more from this. Alright, another book that I really, really enjoyed, Legendborn by Tracy Dion. I gave this book a 4 stars. This is a YA kind of, almost dark academia fantasy kind of vibe, and I was really, really, really excited to get to this. I've been so curious about this story in this series for a long time. So basically, this book is about Bree Matthews, and she starts to attend this like early college program at this UNC Chapel Hill school or something. During her first night, she witnesses this weird magical like demon attack or something, and she sees like this power, right? And she's very confused as to what she's seeing and what's going on. But after the events that she sees on her first night on campus, she finds herself finding the secret society called Legendborns, and there's like a lot of just magical like politics and things like that going on in this book. I really enjoyed it, but I do think that it was a little bit hard to understand because even if I tried to explain the magic system to you, I don't think I'd be able to do that because it's just very like intricate, and it's a lot about like family ties and like not what is the word? Oh, it's a lot about ancestry. It's something about King Arthur's ancestry and knights and things like that. Oh, and a big point of this book is that her mother died, and she's trying to figure out how her mother died long ago because like things were suspicious around the mom's death. I do feel like it was a little long. It's very long. But, I mean, it was enjoyable. It was interesting. I am definitely going to read the second book. I thought it was going to be a 5-star at first, but I think if I was able to understand it a little bit more, I probably would have given it a 5. And I'm very interested to see where the rest of this series goes. Are you ready for the takedown? Na, 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 na. Okay, and the next book I'm going to talk about, I don't have the physical copy. I read this on my Kindle. And that was Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. While reading it, it almost gives like this very like almost women's fiction like, with like a paranormal twist because we're kind of just following these two characters in like this back and forth timeline, but eventually they come together, if that makes sense. So I already forgot their names, and it's just very interesting because one of the characters is from this period of time that's like the 1800s. So there's a lot of things going on in her timeline because obviously the 1800s timeline versus like the now timeline, they're very, very different. So we're kind of just following her story and like what she's going through. Maria, what Maria's going through and stuff like that. And then we have Lottie. No, what is her name? Was it Alice? But yeah, we're following Alice. I really hope that's right. But other than that, I really can't explain the book to you because it's more so we're following the characters until they like come together. And it was weird. It was, well, not weird, but funny. It was funny. For the longest time, they did not say the word vampire. They did not say what they were. And I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. But anyways, that doesn't even matter. So we're following this story and like this dual POV timeline, right? Until they come together. And, you know, actually, I do think this book was a little long. I feel like that there was some stuff that could have been taken out because I felt like I was just kind of reading and waiting for something exciting to happen. At the beginning, though, I didn't feel like that. So I feel like the beginning half was very interesting. But then kind of when you get to the middle, it was a little slow. But then the second half at the end, like towards the end, it was really, really good, really fast paced, obviously, because it's like the end of a book. But something I do like about this book, though, is that it's one book, right? So I feel like it's okay to have like a little bit of slow pacing, especially if it's like one book. Because, you know, I'm so tired of reading series, okay? I'm tired of it. I gave it a 3.5 star, and it's literally because I typically don't read books with vampires, so I thought that was kind of just okay. I'm not like a diehard fan of vampires or anything like that, but I can fully say that the story was enjoyable, and it kept me intrigued to figure out what would happen at the very end, but I just feel like if it was a little bit of faster pace and a little bit more like romance, I think I would have been more interested. Oh, and another book that I was kind of actually really surprised by, and that was Love Theoretically. I gave this a 3 star. Okay. Thought I was gonna love this and eat this up, and I absolutely did not eat it up. Because this girl in this book, I couldn't stand her, okay? Like, listen, because literally there's this line in this book, and he's like, I want to take you out. And then, on a date, and she's like, you're gonna take me out mob style? I'm like, no. Oh my god, you do not know. You are an idiot. I kind of wish there was more banter too, because they kind of just, I'm not even telling you what the story is about. So basically, like, okay, so Elsie is a teacher. She teaches like thermodynamics or something sciencey like that. And she also has this side gig of being like a fake girlfriend, which that trope, I was like, ooh, that sounds very interesting. But actually, she fake dates his brother, this dude's brother. And there's like a specific reason why she does that, but that doesn't really matter. So basically what she finds out is that this guy, Jack Smith, actually made fun of theoretical physicists, which is what she is, right? And it was like in this article that was like posted everywhere. And she finds out it was him after like meeting him and things like that. Anyway, they have that whole thing going on, right? So she hates him for that reason. And he like always liked her, right? And there wasn't really a lot of banter. He didn't really like, he didn't really mess around with her. He wasn't like making fun of her. He kind of was just always like very like interested. I wanted there to be more banter. I remember reading this book and like they got together and they were kind of just doing their own thing, and I was like, what could like go wrong from here? And I really don't remember if there was a third act breakup in this. I really just don't remember. I think a lot of information from this book kind of like went one ear out the other because I just didn't really enjoy it that much. Definitely my favorite book by Ali Hazelwood is The Love Hypothesis, but I just really thought I was going to enjoy this one a lot, but I unfortunately did not. Oh, right. Oh my goodness. So I went into a Freida McFadden journey. Okay, I'm going to talk about all of these kind of together. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't remember like two of them. Okay, so I read Ward D, I read The Locked Door, and I read The Coworker. Okay, so Ward D was actually really good. I really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4-star. It's literally about this girl that's like going to go work at this insane asylum, and there's a lot of like weird things going on. The twist was so creepy. I actually just really, really liked it. And something I also really love about this book in particular is that it took place all in an insane asylum, and I thought that was really interesting. Although I will say, I would have given this book a higher star rating if I felt like I could see the set better, if that makes sense. I felt like I wasn't getting a lot of description on where they were in the insane asylum. So I wish there was a little bit more like, almost I guess you could say world building, but I don't know if that makes sense. I guess just I wanted to see more around, like more descriptions of that. But I really, really enjoyed this book. It really kept me on my toes, and I thought it was really, really fun. And The Locked Door by Freida McFadden, I gave this a 3. This was about this, I literally don't remember. I think it was just like about this girl, and it's something about like her dad was like a murderer or something, and it's kind of telling like this story about like how she found out. I don't remember. Oh my god, this is why I have to write things down. But I gave The Locked Door a 3. I just remember not enjoying it as much as like Ward D. Like it was just okay. And then I read The Coworker. Oh my gosh, The Coworker. This is about a coworker, obviously. We're following this one girl, right? And she is like kind of this uppity, snooty girl. She kind of comes off that way to me at least. And then she's talking about how like her coworker is like kind of strange, but like she doesn't show up to work, right? And she's always very like, on time, and it's just kind of weird. So we're following that. I literally don't remember either of their names. The one thing I can take away from this book is that I hated hearing about turtles. The coworker, the one that's missing, she was like obsessed with turtles. And I really don't know why. But anyway, she went missing, and it was kind of just following that and where she went and what happened to her and stuff. And the twist was very strange. Like, I thought it was kind of weird. I enjoyed it. It was fine. Like, but I just gave it a 3, Oh, and another like thriller book. I read a lot of thrillers. Okay, The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. I listened to this entire book off of Libby, and I literally feel like I didn't pay attention to it a lot. And not really for any reason in particular. I think I was just doing a lot of things while I was listening to it. I remember I was mowing when I was listening to it. This girl, she stayed at this summer camp when she was younger, and it's for like rich people, okay? And I think it was for rich people. She goes to this summer camp. It's past and present perspective, right? So this girl is talking about how she goes to this summer camp when she's younger. She's bunking with these girls, and they die, okay? And she's the only one that didn't die, okay? And then this present perspective, she gets the opportunity to go back to this summer camp. And she's kind of haunted by like the memories of the girls, and you're trying to figure out who did it and like, did she do it? That's like the whole thing. Did she do it? Because no one really knows. I don't remember if they blamed her. I don't remember how, because obviously I don't know if it was a cold case or they blamed the main character. I really don't remember. I remember being, loosely interested in the book, but I feel like it wasn't as, like, grasping. That's not the right word. I didn't feel like it was as, like, intriguing as Riley Sager's other books, but I enjoyed this one. Twist at the end was fine. It wasn't anything like the culprit reveal. It wasn't anything like groundbreaking, you know. But I don't think I really guessed anything either, so that was fun. Oh, I don't feel like grabbing the next book. Just know I have it, but I'm not gonna grab it because I'm lazy. Very, very, very surprised about this book. Okay, everyone gives this book 5 stars, but for me, I really wasn't that into it. Happy Place by Emily Henry. And I will say, there is a chance that I was in the midst of a reading slump, and I'm still kind of in one right now. I've been like back and forth on reading slump. It's been so annoying. But anyways, Happy Place by Emily Henry. I gave this book a 3.5 stars. And I was very, very shocked, okay? I thought I was going to be hooked on this book. I thought I was going to be like devouring it. I thought I was going to give it a 5 star. I was kind of just... And maybe it's because this book deals a lot, like, with friendships and, like, you know, good times with friends and growing older. And it's like, well, I've never had a friend dynamic like that, so maybe I just can't relate, which is really sad to say. I don't have a lot of friends. Anyways, I think I just enjoy a book with more banter, and there wasn't really, like, that much of it. And I was kind of just waiting for these characters to, like, get back together because they had so much, like, you know, like, tension and stuff. And also, it's because Happy Place obviously is about, like, you know, the main girl, I forgot her name, but, like, we have Win, and is it Win? I think it is Win. And wait, what is her name? I don't remember. Anyways, so they were engaged, but they broke up, and they have this trip with their friends to their happy place, which is, like, their little lake house that they go to. It's gonna be, like, for sale, so it's, like, the last time that they can be there together or something like that. They didn't tell their friends that they broke up, right? So Win shows up out of nowhere, and basically we're kind of following them having to fake be together because they don't want their last trip with their friends to be, like, you know, sad or anything, because they want their friends to be happy, right? So they do that. They're trying to fake their relationship, and you're trying to figure out along the way, okay, why did they break up? What happened between them, right? I found myself really annoyed, not with, like, the reasoning, but because the whole thing was just, like, miscommunication, in my opinion. Because when I was finally reading the chapter where they talked about why they broke up and, like, their explanations for it, I remember being really annoyed because, honestly, the main girl, we didn't see her explain to Win of her side at all. And it was literally, like, skipped over, and it was like, I would have liked to see their conversation in real time, because it wasn't in real time, you know what I mean? So I feel like there was a lot of details missed out there, and I feel like I just needed to see that conversation, if that makes... I don't know if that makes any sense. I did read this book in a reading vlog. Obviously, I'm putting videos right here if I read them, because I honestly don't remember. But I just, you know, I was just very surprised that I didn't like this book as much as, like, a lot of other people. But I don't know, I think I just want more banter and, like, enemies to lovers. I think that's just my kind of romance that I like to read, because I like to be looking forward to something, if that makes sense. Like, looking forward to them getting together. And I guess you could say that's what happened in Happy Place, but I don't know. I could easily put that book down and not pick it back up, okay? If that makes sense. Ooh, and now we're going to talk about a 5-star. You guys already know The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payne Smith. This was exactly what I needed, okay? This is a YA romantasy. It has Regency vibes. It has the Selection vibes. Kind of gives a little bit of Cruel Prince, which I love all those things. And this book was about Ivy, and she is now ready to start her season, which is kind of like can go, like, find a suitor, right? So basically, in this one, Prince Bram, there's a queen, and then there's Prince Bram, and there's also Prince Emmett. That is Prince Bram's younger brother. Prince Bram is ready to find a wife, okay? So this season is like a little bit different because of that. And so all these girls are like, oh my gosh, they want to be chosen by Prince Bram because they could be like queen and stuff, right? There's like a funny trading system in this book. Like, for example, you can like give your hair for like a talent or something. Like, I'm just thinking of things. Someone like literally traded their fingernails for like straight teeth or something. Like, it's like crazy, right? It just kind of helps to like impress Prince Bram. I don't know. You know, obviously Ivy is getting closer and closer to Prince Bram, and she is getting help from Prince Emmett. They come up with this agreement where Ivy's gonna help him and then Emmett's gonna help her by like, hey, I will make sure that Prince Bram will choose you. I will help you kind of like, because obviously Prince Emmett knows what Bram likes. And so they're doing that while also Ivy's trying to figure out what happened to her sister Lydia, because Lydia was part of a season at one point and something happened to her when she came back and she like completely like changed, and she wants to know like what happened to her, but Lydia just can't like remember what happened to her. And there's a love triangle too, because obviously, you know, you got Prince Emmett and Prince Bram. Ugh, man. And I want to say this only really gave me the Cruel Prince vibes because Prince Bram is Faye, so he has like a little bit of Faye to him, and I can't wait for the next one to come out. I think it's coming out early next year, which, man, I wish it was coming out sooner. Oh, we're almost done. Okay, The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Lori Gilmore. Okay. If you follow me for a while, you know that I don't like these books all that much, and I will say this one was my favorite. I gave it a 3.5, okay? No, I didn't. Yes, I did. I gave it a 3.5. This book is about Hazel and Noah, and Hazel owns the little bookstore, and Noah is like this fisherman. He is not grumpy, and I think that's why I liked it more, funny enough, because I usually like a grumpy main male character, but I kind of like the difference with that, and Noah also has kind of been always eyeing Hazel, but she never really gives him the time of day because he's kind of a flirt, right? But Hazel's kind of like the girl he can't have, so he's always like really interested. But anyways, Hazel ends up finding these notes in like the books that she has, and they're almost like telling her something, and she decides to go on this like crazy adventure and following the clues in the books, and Noah decides to tag along with her, and obviously it is spicy. I feel like this one was just cute. The other ones were okay, but I really felt like this one was actually like cute. The only thing I don't like about this book is that the cover is deceiving. This is not a fall book. This is a summer book. It looks like a fall book, but it absolutely is not. It was a good time. It's definitely like a book you could sit and binge for a day. Not really a lot of like emotional depth or anything crazy going on in the book, but it was cute nonetheless. And this one, oh my gosh, I am so surprised that I read this. A Court of Silver Flames. Yep, the last book to the ACOTAR series so far, because she is writing more. This book is thick, okay? And honestly did not open this once. Okay, I listened to this all on graphic audio, and I think that's the reason why I also gave this a 5-star. And the graphic audio was just so good. I loved it so much. And actually, I loved learning Nesta's story. I still think she's kind of a bitch. But, you know, in the end, she ended up, you know, really coming around. And I love Cassian so much. I love Cassian. And I just loved learning about Nesta's story and kind of following her and the other girls in this story. And it was really, really fun. And I really... this story is wild. Like, just remembering all the things that happened in this book, it was so good. And I really recommend the graphic audio because, like, it really helps you, like, immerse into the story. And I just can't believe the things that happen in this book. But the thing Nesta did for Feyre, like, the big thing that Nesta did for her was actually insane. Man. And I can't wait for Elaine's story. I want Elaine's story so bad. Oh, another book that I was also really shocked that I didn't like absolutely love was Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan? I don't know. I gave it a 3.5. I don't know. I think I was just getting tired of romances or something because I just didn't like this book as much. Like, okay, so this book is about Allie, okay, and she is a single mom. And not only did her mom die 2 years prior, she also got divorced recently. So her life is kind of a mess right now. And so she is trying to navigate being like a single mom and figuring all that out. And she has like these conversations with her mom and like in like the car and stuff. And I thought that that part was kind of, because she does it so much in the book, it kind of threw me off a little bit. But then I read the author's like note at the very, very end, and the author actually talks to her mom like that. So I don't want to like say anything like negative about it, but in the book I think it did throw me off just because it's something that I've never like done before. Yeah, that part kind of like threw me off because it was like, wow, she's actually like talking to her mom. Is this like paranormal or something? But like I think it was just something that helped the character feel more like at ease. I think when I talked about this book before, I think I said, oh, she goes to a hardware store and a dog pees on this random guy. No, she goes to the dog park and her dog pees on this guy named Ethan, and that's how they meet. Okay, I think I explained it wrong in a video before. And anyways, we're following them, and it turns out that Ethan is somebody she actually knows in a sense too. And I don't want to like spoil that because it wasn't on the back, so I don't want to like say anything about it. But I thought that part was kind of funny. I do think, though, because of how they kind of know each other, I thought this one character would get a little more upset, but they actually didn't, which is fine, but I kind of found it surprising. But anyway, of course, like throughout this book, you're following them and they're having like this summer romance. They kind of establish that it's only going to be for the summer. And obviously things change, you know, because their feelings for each other are a lot deeper. And obviously there's going to be like a third act breakup, third act conflict of like, oh, like we can't, you know, you have your life and I have mine and we can't like make it work. You know, there's always that kind of thing. And I enjoyed this book. I had to listen to it for like through audio though. And not that that's a bad thing. It's just sometimes when I can't sit and binge a book and I feel like I have to go to audio to finish it, that tells me that I didn't like it as much. So that's why I gave it a 3.5. And it was okay. But it wasn't, I don't know if it's me. I don't know if I'm the problem, but it was just okay. So I gave it a 3.5. I mean, I don't really know what I would say negatively about it at the moment. I guess I just wanted more banter or something. I don't know. I don't know what I wanted. I don't know. 2 more books. We're almost done. Don't leave. Wait, there's 2 more books. Okay, so funny enough, this one I actually really enjoyed. I read Nightbane by Alex Astor. So this book was like all over the place and kind of a mess, but I really, really liked it. Like, there was a lot of things going on, not things that aren't necessarily like important, but I just found it very entertaining to listen to. We were just kind of following like Isla, right? And her, you know, newfound relationship or whatever that we figure out at the end of book 1. And it was just a lot of her being very, I'm just gonna say it, she's horny. I just thought it was funny that she was like that. It kind of just made me laugh a lot. But there was just a lot going on. Like, I literally don't remember what happened in the book because I read it so long ago. I don't know what I'm gonna do because they just announced the new audiobooks for these. I don't know if they're graphic audio or what. I don't know what's going on. But the guy that voices Oro is played by the guy that plays Kaiazer. And I don't know what I'm gonna do because it's gonna make me like Oro. And not that I don't like Oro, but it's like, I don't think that's the guy she's gonna end up with. I think she's gonna end up with Grimm. But I have no idea. Like, I literally don't know what's gonna happen, you know? And I don't wanna, like, say anything about this book. So, yeah. So the ending, what happened at the end? Oh, yeah. I remember now. Oh, shit. Oh my gosh. I remember now. Damn. Yeah, this book ends on a cliffhanger. So, and I don't know if Skyshade, like, I don't want to get Skyshade right now because it's not out in paperback. But yeah, that ending, that was crazy. The last book! Woohoo! We're at the last book, okay? We got Heartless by Elsie Silver. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was a really good time. I gave it a 4-star. I was really excited to get to this book in the Chestnut Springs series because this one is about Cade Eaton and he's a single dad and he's hot, apparently. This is my second single dad book. It's kind of a weird thing to say. My second single dad. But it was my second single dad book trope, older man trope, whatever. Anyway, I was really excited to read this one. I actually read this all physically and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Cade and Willa and their dynamic together, and I thought the way like Cade would take a step back and watch Willa with his son was really sweet. And I think because now that I'm older, I like appreciate kids in books more, if that makes sense, because I really think like it helps with like the family dynamic and like tying people together, if that makes sense. You know, just seeing how Luke changed Cade's life and changed Willa's life was just very sweet. I thought it was sweet. Was not expecting the thing with Willa to happen. I was very shocked about that, if you know what I'm talking about. You guys have probably read this book because I feel like I'm really late on the game with this. I thought that was very interesting, but also I think that their little third act conflict or whatever it was dumb. I was like, why are you doing that? Like, I get it, but like, why are you doing that? Like, you're trying to prove a point, but like, sure, proving a point to yourself, but also like, why? I don't know, because they knew how they felt about each other. Anyways, I thought it was fun. There was a lot of spice in this, and just, this is a personal thing. I didn't like the talk about like throw up. I think that like, that made me feel sick. I literally had to take a Tum while I was reading it because it made me feel like I was also gonna get sick. But I really liked it. Other than that, I gave it a 4. I definitely liked it a lot more than the first book. I think the first book I just gave a 3. But anyway, I'm excited to read the next book, which I think is Powerless. It sounds like it'll be really good. But with that being said, that is the end of my July and August wrap up. 17 books. That is actually insane. Definitely am not doing as good of a job in September, October, let me tell you, because I got a lot of things going on and I am in another book slump. But a big thing that I've been getting into is audiobook narration. I did get casted in one thing so far. I'm kind of waiting to hear back from others, but it's kind of just the start of my audiobook journey. I've been putting a lot of work and a lot of effort into that, and just know that audiobooks and recording for audiobooks take a lot of time. So a lot of my time has been doing that right now, so it's taking more time away from booktube and reading and things like that. But I'm also in a little bit of like a book slump, and I think it's because I've just been more like hyper fixated on my audiobook journey, and we have to build like a vocal booth because right now where I'm recording isn't ideal, so we're gonna do that. So just know that videos might be a little scattered here on out. I will try my best, but I don't think that I'm gonna be uploading next week, but I will try. I'm still planning on doing a fun fall book shopping vlog. I'm planning on doing spooky reads. I definitely want to do that. Reading cozy fall books. I definitely still want to do all that for you guys and for myself because I love reading. Obviously, just right now things are a little bit hectic, but also like very exciting, and I'm excited for this new journey that I'm going on. And it's funny too because like I've wanted to do audiobook narration for so long, and I was waiting until we built like a booth, right? And I was just like, I just need to do it. I just need to just do it. And then I did it, and then I got in something relatively quickly. So I was very proud of myself because I know that this world is very competitive. So I was just really proud of myself, and I will give you guys updates on books that I voice in because I would love for you guys to like listen to them and listen to my voice. That'd be kind of weird. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and if you want to see me a little bit more, make sure to subscribe, follow me on Goodreads, things like that if you want. And I will hopefully be uploading for you guys again soon. I'm gonna try my best, but just know things might look a little scattered here on out, but I'm gonna try my best to get at least some videos out for you guys. I'm gonna try to do better and plan ahead because that's another thing that I really need to do. But with that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!